All right, so here we have the all-wheel drive trailing arm of a CRV. I got this at the junkyard for I think about 20 bucks. It really wasn't too bad. And then I got the rear spindle. I think this was of a CRV at that time when I found it. This was about a year ago. So that's what I got here. So I already went ahead and installed both of this stuff in the other side, and I'm gonna show you guys that, and then I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to install it on this side step by step. And the reason I already installed it on the other side is just because I wanted to see by myself, you know, off camera, make sure everything was gonna bolt up how I planned it. So, and everything went smooth. There was really nothing out of the ordinary. It was pretty simple and straightforward, to be honest with you guys. So let me show you the other side how I did it, and then we're gonna go ahead, come back to here and be installing this. So all right guys, so here I got the all-wheel drive trailing arm and the spindle as well, and you can see I have the axle already put on here. And I did order new rotors, but they ended up sending me the wrong ones, and I didn't want to use this one just because they were rusty and old, and they've been sitting in my garage for over a year. So sucks. I might just have to get them cut and throw them back on because they gave me the wrong ones. Anyway, so you can see I'm gonna show you guys little bit by little. So one of the things that you will no longer have doing this all-wheel drive setup on a RSX is gonna be your e-brake. You just can't do it. I don't even think there's a way to even keep it, because in the center, let me show you right here real quick. So you're gonna be cutting later on. I'll show you guys this, but this part right here where the e-brake sits at, you have to cut a tunnel right in the center, and I'm gonna put a picture for you guys so you guys see what I'm actually talking about. You have to cut a tunnel there, and that's where the drive shaft will be going in the center. So you can see it in this side. I already installed it, like I said that. So I'm gonna go ahead into the other side and show you guys step by step how to put the other one. So let's get to it. All right, so I took my wheel off. So now we're gonna be taking off the old trailing arm. You may be asking, and I had the same question as well, is this trailing arm the same as this? And you know, I had looked in the forums and I talked to people, and they told me that it's actually a little bit different. And when I bolted it up on the other side, it felt like the same thing. So I had some guy message me on what was it, Instagram, and he told me that he kept the stock trailing arms, and all he did went to the junkyard and got the spindles off the all-wheel drive, either CRV or Element. So I really didn't want to see if it worked or it didn't, so I just bought them. They really wasn't, it was like 15 bucks, so I really didn't want to get to it. So when I was reading through the forums, the guy explained that when he did his all-wheel drive, he tried to keep the stock trailing arm, and he said that it did not work. So he had to go back to the junkyard and get the all-wheel drive one. So, you know, that's a little something that you may want to consider if you want to keep the stock one, just because he said it didn't. Now I had somebody else said it did work, so I just didn't really care. I just spent the extra money. It wasn't a big deal to me. So now it's going to be, this is just a 17, so 17, 17. This is a 17 here. The back one is a 17, and that one too is a 17. And I believe the one for your suspension, you can see the one for here, I believe that's a 17 or 14. I'm not quite sure. So I'm just going to be taking off all of them with the same bolt, so you really have to do anything different. So let me go ahead and take this out and put the new one in. And I am going to be taking the e-brake off, and I have to chase it all the way inside, but that's no big deal. And another thing I'm kind of forgetting, so as you can see here, I didn't get the what you call this, the caliper for the when I got the stuff at the junkyard, because the guy on the form, he did say that the bracket, all you need is the bracket from the all-wheel drive and your your stock caliper will bolt right up, and it's actually true. So it saved me a couple bucks right there. I know my calipers are actually my calipers are actually good, so I had nothing to worry about. So that will save you a couple bucks whenever you go to junkyard and do that. So just know that your stock one will work, and all you need is the bracket right here. So make sure you do get the bracket, because your stock one will not work at all. So that's something, you know, I spent a lot of times doing some research and make sure before I did this stuff I was gonna get the right parts. So let me get back over here and start taking everything out of for the controller. And guys, one of the things I did forget to mention is your sway bar. That's one of the things that you will no longer be able to use. And again, I'm not quite sure if you can use from the one from the Element or the CRV. And I really didn't really care much to it. So when I did read up on the forum, the guy said that he didn't either get him from the CRV or Element. He didn't care as much either, so neither do I. So if you're looking to keep your sway bar, that's something you might have to look into it. That's not something that I want to keep, and I really don't. It really won't bother me. So just know that you won't be able to bolt it up back into this one, since it just won't work. So that's something to keep in mind for it. So let me go ahead and continue and start taking the rest of the bolts off. All right, so I ended up removing I'm gonna remove the spindle first, since when I did the other side, that's how I did it, and it was a lot easier for me just to remove everything. So I went ahead and removed the one right here for the camera kit. It's just a 17, and yeah, that just happened. So, and then this is a 17 as well, and this one too, just a nut here, just similar like this, very simple. And then a 12, and then I'm just gonna take off this 12 and this 12, so that lets me take off my caliper without having to bleed the brake system or any air get in the back of here. So that's what I'm doing. It's pretty simple, like I said, doing this. So let me get to take off this stuff out of here, and then I'll be able to take off the sway bar, and it gives you more room, as you can see. So we're not longer gonna be able to run the sway bar, and it really doesn't matter to me, to be honest with you guys. All right, so I had a little bit hard time trying to take off the e-brake cable, and I forgot that I still had this on, and I had my e-brake up, so it was kind of difficult for me to take off the caliper, because it was still holding strength on there. So just be cautious when you do this. I totally forgot about it. Make sure you have your e-brake down. I forgot I lifted it up a little bit and just had enough pressure that not to let her loose. So just gonna take it off from here, and then you just slide it down like so. If it comes off, Jesus, kind of hard to. There you go. And then there's another 10 millimeter. I mean, I said 12 little bolt right here, and just loosen it up. And we have this thing out, and that's about it for that right now. And then now I'm just gonna start taking off the sway bar, and then the suspension. And I still got one in the back, and I should be able to. You can see. Should be able to take this off and slide a new one in. So like I said previously, making RSX is probably the cheapest one, since the the EKs, EGs, all of this stuff, they have to get custom stuff made just for their vehicle. And our cars, we're lucky enough that the CRV and Element are all-wheel drive, and they pretty much share about 90% of the same undercarriage. So the stuff literally bolts right on with no issues. So let me finish taking this off, and let's put the new one in. All right, so I got the sway bar linkage thing, man. This thing is a pain in the butt to take off. I used the Allen key and then I put it in here, and then I had to use a wrench and turn it one by one until I got it out. This thing is a pain. I hate taking these things off, but all right, now that I got it off, pretty much all I gotta do is suspension and the one in the rear, and it should come out. So let's get to it and knock this thing out. Ouch. Ouch. Alright guys, so this is pretty much the next day. It kind of got dark yesterday when I started finishing taking the spindles out. So this is how you should have it once you're done taking out the spindle and the lower control arm out. So now we're gonna go ahead and take a look at this and pretty much show you guys that it looks exactly the same. But like I said previously, I just got the all-wheel drive one because, you know, that's what I saw on the forums and that's what they said. So let's go ahead and look over them. And you can pretty much see the only thing that I noticed that changed a little bit in my perspective is this right here for the sway bar. So you can see this one's actually a little different, and other than that, I looked over it and I really haven't seen much of a difference. So you can see a little bit here, but not too crazy that I can, you know, say it's, you know, this is the one of the let me double check. Yeah, this is the CRV one, and that's the RSX one. So yeah, because I left this one. So yeah, so there you go. I'm gonna go ahead and start putting this one in. So obviously it's gonna be the 17 bolts, and the one that freaking fell on my leg right here. And then we're gonna go ahead and put the spindle and the suspension back in here. And yeah, let's get back to it and get this thing going all-wheel drive. One of the things that I forgot to mention that was really important when doing this, since the CRV has a 14 right here, I mean it's a 17 millimeter bolt, and the RSX turns out it's a 14. And so one of the things that when I was reading on the forums is the guy tells that if you want to keep that right here and just use the regular bolt, where'd it go? Alright, so this regular bolt right here, one of the things that he says is you have to drill this right here, and turn out my crap was terrible, and when I tried to drill it with a drill bit, it just fell apart. Anyways, so you're supposed to drill it and big enough for the bolt to go through right here. So if you don't want to do this and kind of mess up your suspension is, one of the things that he did say is cut this bolt right here. So you just get the grinder, cut it out, and then you put the OEM bolt, the factory, the RSX one, and you pretty much just do it just like this. So you put it through, and you put a nut in the back, since you're going to be grinding that one off. Just if you don't want to make the hole bigger. So I'm kind of stuck now, and I'm gonna have to call DC Racing and see if they can give me a new bushing or figure out what they want to do for buy a new one, because it's probably one of the issues why I was having noise in the back. So I'm kind of stuck now still, and I already did the other side, but the other side I didn't drill it, and like I said, I totally forgot that you had to do that. And if you don't want to drill the hole, I mean, you can just simply cut that with a grinder when you have the spindle out, and then put the bolt through in the nut. So that's kind of the way I kind of wanted to do it. And I was like, ah, screw it, I'll just drill the hole through it. And yeah, that happened. So I think I'd rather just replace the bushing anyways. And what I'm gonna do on the other side, I'm just gonna either, I'm not sure, probably cut the bolt and then just do it how I had it before, like this. So now kind of stuck still, you know. Pretty much all I had to do was put the spindle here, this two bolts and the one for the top, and you know, just so you can see the other side. And it kind of sucks, but I mean, you already saw the full process, and I explained to you guys, I mean, the best that I could. It kind of sucks that this happened now, and I was almost done. So let me go to the other side. Yeah, so you can see here, I totally forgot I had to do this. So this actually bushing is actually good, and it's not worn out like the other side is. So yeah, guys, kind of sucks. I'm stuck, you know, stuck now. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna finish this side on my own, and you know, mock it up and drill the hole here and put the bolt through. So you know, it sucks. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll probably do another video similar to this, but I'm gonna actually be covering the fuel system after. I already got a fuel cell in here. You guys can't really see in there, but show you. And then I'm gonna show you guys how to run the fuel system for the all-wheel drive setup, so you guys know how to do it. So that's probably the next video I got going on. So stay tuned, and I'm gonna be dropping that hopefully sometime this week for you guys.